One power, invisible, and just see everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and just speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power.
Good morning. Such is the nature of life that all it asks and all it wants is the opportunity to appear. You are that opportunity, and so am I, and so it is. Welcome, everyone, to CSL Midtown, coming to you this morning from Atlanta, Georgia. We are so glad that you've joined us today, and we welcome all people, no matter who you are or where you are in your life. We welcome all those who are listening online, either live now or on a recording later. Our center reflects the beautiful, diverse tapestry of life, so we welcome you, whoever you are and whatever path brought you to be here today. Know that you are in the right place, and this is the right time for you. And we know that you are an individual expression of the divine life in which we all live. You are welcome to participate here today and to become a part of our community. We hope that those of you who are watching our broadcast on social media will like and share this with your friends. For a better understanding of who we are and what we teach, listen now to our Declaration of Principles as written by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes.
A few of the Declaration of Principles we live by.
I believe in one God, one absolute power, and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life, and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding.
I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
So grateful. Good morning. My name is Judy Aehle, and I'm one of the practitioners here at CSL Midtown. And this month we are continuing the study of the fear and the furious. This week the topic is in the presence of fear, and the affirmation for this week is, I meet fear with curiosity, compassion, and courage. Ernest Holmes, the founder of our teaching, says that fear is faith misplaced. Fear comes from within us. It's the meaning that we assign to an event or something in our consciousness. I was thinking this week about how we sometimes react to circumstances, feelings, or sensations with fear. Without even thinking or taking a pause, we can jump right into fear. This can be true as we react to pain or sensations in our body. Oh, that back pain. My immediate reaction without any pause or moment to think can be fear. Oh, here it is again. And when the fear is activated, the pain and the feeling stuck in the pain persists and sometimes even grows. We can react with fear when we hear some news about something in the world or about something going on in the circumstances of our lives. If we react without taking that moment of pause to just think and allow ourselves to not get sucked into the fear. I also think fear is a message to let us know where we need to possibly explore deeper in our lives. if we can listen to the fear for its message without letting it take us over, we can unlock the grip of fear and face it with curiosity, compassion, and courage. It can lead us to a deeper understanding of the truth of who we spiritually are. Fear is not spiritual failure. We can stand still in the fear with an open heart and be open to what it can teach us. And there was a quote in the information from Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Love, Pray. And her quote about this is, "The less I fight my fear, the less it fights back. If I can relax, fear relaxes too." So let's just take a moment now. I would like to lead us in a spiritual mind treatment. So wherever you are, if you'll just get comfortable in your seat or on your sofa, or you might be lying down, wherever, whatever it is that's comfortable for you, and just take some nice, slow, deep breaths and allow yourself to become fully present in this moment. And as we focus on being right here, right now, we let go of what we might have been worrying or fearing about the future or the past. We let go of that and allow ourselves to sink into this moment and knowing this. Know this with me and accept this for yourself. I know that there's a spiritual presence, there's an infinite wisdom, a divine intelligence, an eternal love, a presence that is everywhere. It's all around me, it's within me. This presence is all that there is, whether you call it God, spirit, love, power, it is all that there is. And I know that I am, and that each person listening to this is absolutely connected to this power, that this presence, this spiritual oneness, this wholeness, this completeness is all that we are, that we are absolutely one with it. We are never separated from it. And we open ourselves up and allow it to express in our lives. And as we do this, we know that we tap into intelligence, that we open ourselves up to divine guidance, and that we accept our lives, and we know that ultimately all is well, and that we are here to express the fullness and the wholeness of this presence, of this goodness, of this love, of this great prosperity, of this great wisdom, that we bring peace and love into the world, into our particular circumstances. We take a moment to ponder the idea of fear and know that it can be a teacher, and we open up to the wisdom that it can bring us. And we allow ourselves to be spiritually guided in that quest. I take a moment before I respond in fear to anything in my life and know that truly, truly all is well. And that this presence and this power only desires to express through me in greater and greater ways of love, of peace, of joy, of prosperity, of vibrant health, of goodness of every kind. I turn away from any idea of lack, limitation, of stress, of worry. I look at these things and know that they can manifest in my life if I allow them to do that. So I bring awareness to all of this and know that the truth of me and the truth of every person listening to this is oneness, is wholeness, is peace, is goodness, and is love. I release this treatment now, knowing that it is so. I release it with gratitude and with faith, and I let it be and so it is. And while we have some music for reflection.
With so much darkness in this world, we often need a light to guide us, yet we don't need to be afraid. The light is always there inside us. We only need to let it shine and not let shadows make us falter. For we are made of love divine, and that's a truth that never alters. We are all points of light, every life a shining story. We are stars burning bright, and we blaze from glory to glory. This flame in our hearts will take us to the greatest heights. Each one of us is a point of light. So when the sky has turned to gray and we may feel we can't go higher, then let's remember to believe the smallest spark can start a fire. We are all points of light, every life a shining story. We are stars burning bright, and we blaze from glory to glory. This flame in our hearts will take us to the greatest heights. Each one of us is a point of light. We are so much more than mere bodies. We are bearers of the light. We are soul, we are spirit. We are beacons in the night. We are all points of light, every life a shining story. We are stars burning bright, and we blaze from glory to glory. This flame in our hearts will take us to the greatest heights. Each one of us is a point of light. Every one of us is a point of light.
All right. Well, we were welcoming back today Reverend James Peake to CSL Midtown. Reverend Peake is an advocate for practicing kindness and living as the presence of unconditional love. He is an ordained CSL minister and has served as a senior minister of a local community. He teaches in the CSL Latin School of Spiritual Leadership and is currently the Director of Information Technology at CSL Home Office in Colorado. He has a bachelor's degree in Management Information Systems from the University of Phoenix and a master's degree of Consciousness Studies from Holmes Institute. He enjoys his beautiful home in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado, and we welcome you. And so glad to have you back today, Reverend Peake.
Rev, your mic is still on mute.
All right, sorry about that. I had I was thinking that it would automatically unmute, so let me start again. Good morning, Midtown, welcome. Looking forward to the next hour or two discussing fear. So did that just send a little fear through you? No, actually, we're gonna be together for about 20, 25 minutes. And the talk title is To Fear or Not to Fear, That is the Question. And Franklin D. Roosevelt attempted to answer that question years ago. And he proclaimed, it's probably one of the most famous quotes about fear, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. I'm sure you've heard it. It's a statement of power, a statement of, we're not going to allow this fear to get us. Seems like it's a very brave statement. And yet, in my little world, I think it's a spiritual bypass. I think Frank was kind of like just bypassing things. So, what if fear is actually a teacher? So this morning, what I'd like to do is explore this idea that there's a potential for fear to open us up to a greater, deeper truth of who we are, what we are, ultimately our true nature. And one thing is that the fear that we experience at times, there's a direct correlation to the level of consciousness that we're operating from in that moment. Now, in the CSL curriculum and the teachings, we refer to this as the aspects of consciousness. Others refer to it as the kingdoms of consciousness. The label and the exact model doesn't really matter as much as the consciousness. But when we're in this, the first level of consciousness, if you will, or the first, first aspect, it's really a consciousness of life is happening to me. I'm very powerless. I don't have a lot of control. And fear can really just grab a hold of us. Fear is almost a total experience of our lives because we just feel that, we're a separate individual little ego self trying to make it in the world. And the message we just keep affirming. And of course, we know that our thoughts reflects out into the world and it mirrors back to us, right? Our thinking. So the message we continue to hold on to, whether we like it or not, is that I'm powerless. It's everybody else's fault that I'm not happy, that things aren't going my way. And in The Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes said that fear is a belief in separation from good, which binds and limits. So it binds us, it keeps us very limited. And it's simply what separation feels like on the inside. So that's the first aspect is a very, it's a very scary place to be. Now, for many folks, once they discover some spiritual teachings, they begin to kind of shift their day-to-day world to maybe the next aspect, which is one feeling much more powerful. It's the by me aspect. And this is where we discover some creative power. We can use the law. There's a law that we can use it for good or to better our lives. And so this is real progress compared to the previous aspect. But there's a subtle fear that still lives here. So if I'm actively using the law, I'm manifesting, I'm using treatment, and I'm just creating this world. But the challenge ultimately is that our faith is still placed in a personal doing self. I'm the doer. And it's not grounded in principle. We may be using the principle of the creative process, maybe using the law, but our true being really isn't just grounded in principle. And so thus, when the willpower starts to fade, where the results aren't showing up as soon as we really want them to, fear can rush back in. So we've learned that there's a power for good in the universe and we can use it, yet we haven't really quite learned to just rest in the power. We feel we have to constantly be doing something. Now, I'm not saying that we just sit back, hang out, and just know that everything's going to manifest for our good, because often there are actions that we take in the world to help bring forth any kind of change. An example I use is if you were to lose your job and you decide, well, I don't need to go out and use any of the job search boards. I don't need to get in touch with the recruiting firm. I'll just sit on my couch every day and know that the perfect person will knock on my door in the next week and offer me the perfect job. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible, because in God, in life, in the oneness, anything's possible, right? There's no limits. And yet, the way life tends to work, we're dealing with this race consciousness, we're dealing with the consciousness of everyone around us. Chances are, if you treat and move your feet, as we like to say, you may end up with a little better result, what you're seeking. And that's another piece of the challenge of aspect 2. There's this seeker, the doer, and so it's on me. But if we begin to push through this fear and let principle dissolve the idea that I have to do it alone, we start to shift into these other aspects. Aspect 3, which is the through me aspect, and aspect 4, which is the as me. And in these aspects, there's a sense of surrender. So that doer, that ego begins to dissolve and surrender. And it becomes a sense of spirit flowing through us, or we show up as the presence. And in these aspects, the ground shifts entirely. But when the fear arises, it's recognized immediately. It's just a false belief. We don't need to try to hide it or push it away or take control of it. We just know that it's a claim of separation in a universe that's really just one. So we can see the falsehood right away. And there's no tendency to want to duke it out or push back. We just return to truth. And as Ernest Holmes said in Can We Talk to God, we can lean on the recognition that he said, there's a spirit which knows. Spirit knows the truth. Spirit is the truth. We can lean into that in those moments that we may have some fear pop up. We know it's a false belief. We can just lean into that truth. And in the deepest as me awareness, we're just showing up as love. We're showing up as the presence. We understand that there's no doer at all. We see that the self, who was afraid, is simply a passing appearance within the oneness, within the one life of which we are an expression of. So what this means is that the fear is showing us simply maybe where our consciousness is at. It's nothing we need to manage, but it's information. And it reframes this whole relationship. We don't need to push about the fear, fight it. The moment we stop treating fear as an intruder, we can begin to see it as a messenger. And that's the next thing I'd like to play with a little bit. Can fear be a messenger? Is it something that we don't bypass? And if we're not going to bypass, what do we do? What do we do with it? Well, we can take it into inquiry, take it within. So the temptation is often to bypass it, right? Fear pops up, we want to treat it away. We're going to affirm it away, insist that we're fine, without ever really seeing, is there maybe a message beneath the fear? Is there something going on that's a little deeper that might have a gift for us? Because if we bypass it, we're just driving it back into our unconscious, into the subconscious, and it's going to come out sideways at some point, right? Somehow, some way. It's not like we've dealt with it. that fear is going to come out again. But if we can genuinely move into this state of inquiry with curiosity, I'm kind of curious, what's going on here? I haven't felt this way in a while. What's this about? That curiosity is the doorway that then this deeper inquiry can walk into. So instead of asking, how do I make this fear go away? We can change the question to, what is it pointing to? And even a deeper walk, if you will. To whom is this fear arising? What aspect of my beingness is this fear arising? And this is the one that the mystics have asked for ages. Because when we really look close, the separate frightened self at the center of the fear, if we really go within and just hang out there and really look at this, we find that frightened self is less solid than it claimed to be. It may feel like our whole world's falling apart. It may feel like there's no way out, that this fear has got us. But if we really can find a way to dig deep and really look at it, again, we find that it's really not solid. And it really becomes a call to realign with truth, with spirit. So the fear is no longer a verdict and becomes a signal, if you will. It's a gentle indication that we've wandered from our spiritual center. It's not a sign of failure. When we go within and we go into the inquiry, the fear that we maybe felt like we wanted to bypass or we wanted to escape from actually becomes the thing that walks us back home. Because we know that it's not a truth. It doesn't have external power in and of itself. It only has the power that we are giving it, but often we're giving it at an unconscious level. And so we can't really just think our way out of it. But if we go within, that fear then can start to move from maybe a sentence, like we're in jail and we can't get out, to an invitation to a greater wholeness. And the deeper we go and the more we're willing to sit with it, we really start to understand where the fear is coming from. We start to see that it really belongs to the world of appearances, conditions, the world of effects, but it's not of spirit itself. It's not of God. I mean, we have faith of God, and some have faith in God, but as we expand, we have faith of God. We've experienced it. But I don't know how often we hear of the fear in God or fear of God, unless maybe a different teaching, but certainly not in Science of Mind or New Thought. We recognize that God is the one life, the one eternal presence, the one divine love. There's a givingness. There's nothing to fear. And so as we move in and we really recognize that the fear is of the world, not of spirit, we see that it's a movement, excuse me, in condition to mind, not of the divine. Fear is a real experience. We're experiencing it for sure, but it's not rooted in reality. It's a movement of the world of identified mind, but not spiritual truth. And on his radio show, The Contagion of Fear, and if you've never had the opportunity to listen to Dr. Holmes from his radio show days or some of his other audio presentations, you can go to the Science of Mind archives, and they have numerous recordings of Dr. Holmes. His presentation style and his voice is definitely worth the visit. But on his radio program that was entitled The Contagion of Fear, he said, there is nothing for God to be afraid of. Now let's just sit with that for a moment. There's nothing for God to be afraid of. So we can't really, even through imagination, understand what that would be like to have the overall omnipresent omni-intelligence. But in our own expression, our own spirit as human form, I think we can get a sense of this idea that, well, yeah, there would be nothing for God to fear, right? I mean, it's got this creative power. It creates everything out of itself, doesn't diminish itself, it has infinite expressions of life. And whether this form of life is human and animals and plants on Earth is unique to the cosmos or not, even within our world, there's so many infinite different expressions of life. So if God is all powerful and all creative and all intelligent and with divine love as its essence, yeah, what is there for God to fear? Well, here's the beauty of it is we are that spirit. If there's one life, then we are it. When it's said we're created in the image and likeness of God, it's not a separation thing. It's not like God's out here and created humans in its image, in his image. It's not that. It's the image and likeness because spirit is spirit. And so whether it's a rational, logical argument, whether it's something we feel in our heart, or just that deep sense of knowingness in our soul, there's really nothing for us to be afraid of either. Now, it doesn't mean it's not going to show up. But when fear does show up, Ernest Holmes reminds us it's the negative use of faith. It's just faith misplaced. You may have heard, it's two sides of the same coin, faith and fear. I don't necessarily love that analogy, but it's out there. But really, fear is simply faith in a negative outcome, faith in something happening that we're not going to love, right? So fear is a form of faith. It's faith in the wrong thing, if you will. It's a belief that the creative power is being used to trust in limitation, which kind of sounds silly, right? If you say it out loud. I have this strong belief in limitation, even in this infinite universe. And yet, it's a lived expression. It's a lived reality occasionally. At some point, somehow, we can slip right back into, that victimhood consciousness, and the fear can be engulfing. But what we're looking at this morning is, well, what do we do with it? Can I continue to have faith in my life, faith of God, faith of spirit, when this fear arises? And when we come to understand that it's really just a form of faith that's different than maybe our normal definition of faith, all we have to do really is just redirect that faith. So we move it out of whatever the fear is pointing at that we're afraid of, move it back into a positive form of faith where we know who and what we are, and it begins to dissolve the power that the fear has over us and makes it easier then to go within, easier to do the inquiry. So what's this message here? Because the power we've given it, we just lent to it, often unknowingly. It's just in our unconscious. But if we can then have that shift of faith and go deeper, again, we can understand what that message is. And I don't know if you're like me, you're like, what? I mean, ultimately, it's like, what? This is what the fear was about? I thought I healed that 10 years ago. Well, it can't be. It can't be. Well, it can be. Because there's a unique aspect or a unique reality that occurs is as we go deeper and we heal some of these false beliefs and we return to a greater wholeness, it opens the door to a deeper understanding. And so the fear down the road can reappear. And it can seem like it's about the same thing, but it's just about the same thing, maybe at a deeper level, a deeper opportunity to remember our wholeness, a deeper opportunity to ground in that faith of oneness, of the truth of who and what we are, regardless of what the conditions and the circumstances and our thoughts and our feelings might be trying to convince us. When we move into this deep faith, life really does shift. It brings us great opportunities to just move in and through an as life in a different way. Now, I'm not saying that life suddenly becomes free of challenges, but what it becomes free of is the tyranny of challenge. The tyranny of challenge. When the fear arises or the challenges pop up, we don't have to lose our head. And we don't have to put on our armor and go to battle against the fear. But we just respond differently. The hard medical diagnosis may still come, but we meet it grounded in something deeper than the report or what the doctors are saying. We can take the next suggested step from center rather than from panic. We may have a financial setback, but instead of immediately slipping back into, I have no power, there's nothing I can do here, we find ourselves more open to the possibilities, which often we didn't even realize were there because we were pushing back on the fear so hard that the fear keeps these possibilities hidden. It's when we allow that fear to maybe just take a sidecar, that these possibilities can show up, or the conversation that we've been avoiding for months finally happens because we're no longer needing to be fearless in order to be willing. We don't have to be fearless to be willing. The fear may arise. We can simply have the conversation even with the fear present. And slowly over time, the context of life really does change. We react less, we respond more, we rest a little easier, peace of mind, peace of heart, which leads to us generally meeting others with more kindness. For there's no longer a need to defend ourselves against a world that we imagined was against us. This is what this deep faith or knowingness ultimately is. It's not a slogan, it's not a bypass, but a quiet lived confidence knowing life as us is for us, which may sound like separation, but that's one of the real challenges with oneness. The language hasn't caught up with the reality. But if it's all one and we're an aspect of the one, we are an expression of the one, how could life not be for our expression? So really the invitation this week, and I'd like to offer, is that if fear pops up this week or in the next couple of weeks, avoid rushing to contain it or fix it or affirm it away. But gently pause and just ask 3 simple questions. Which aspect of consciousness am I standing in right now? What is this fear trying to show me, to tell me? And is this fear of the world or of spirit? And then see if there's anything to fear. Namaste.
Thank you, Reverend James. That gave us a lot to think about as we all experience those things going through our lives. So we'll see you on Zoom in just a little bit. Thanks. Yeah, just so much to contemplate there because we all experience that in our everyday lives. So now it's time for our New Minister Sacred Covenant Easy Prayer. You can download the full version on our website, cslmidtown.org. This is the abbreviated version. So there is only one life. This life is God, and I am one with it. I know my new minister is a revelation of spirit as principle, fulfilling God's promise. For principle is not bound by precedent, but operates according to the law for those who align with it. Together with my community, I see my new minister inspiring spiritual oneness through wisdom, love, and authenticity. One that is awakened to inner wisdom, communicates spiritual truth, universal truth, and serves as a conduit of divine love, wisdom, and healing energy. One that recognizes the inherent wholeness within all beings and offers teachings grounded in spiritual principles to cultivate inner transformation. One that extends love, compassion, and spirit's transformative power into the wider community, fostering connections that heal and uplift individuals on their unique journeys. As I accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know they will be revealed in a way that expresses spirit and serves as the highest good. Highest good of all touched by their presence. I am grateful for God is good, and so it is. And now it's time for our conscious giving. You can donate on our website, cslmidtown.org/donate. You can scan the QR code on the screen. And we are deeply grateful for every one of you that contributes to the center, to keep it going, to bring these amazing ministers and talks to us every single week. And know that it is appreciated. So here's our affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. I've got a couple of announcements. I want to thank Judy for being our practitioner today, Judy Aehle. Next week, we have the Reverend Dr. Jerry Troyer. He's going to talk about mobilizing anger after the why, now what? The adult study group is finishing up the Science of Mind. I thought they were done, but I was informed this week that they are still working on the very little end of the book, which has some interesting nuggets in it. The next book is this thing called You by Ernest Holmes. So they meet at 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings in our Zoom room. So you go to cslmidtown.org, scroll down to where the Zoom link is, click the Zoom link, put in the passcode, and you'll get in and you can have a discussion with them. So let's do our affirmation of life on our way out. I leave this place now knowing something better than I did before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me, and so it is. And if you want, you can join us over on Zoom if you're live and you're not on Zoom right now, to have a discussion with Reverend James. I think it's going to be lively this morning, and we'll see you next week.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Hey, oh yeah, grateful. I just say I am so grateful every day for all I have. Every day, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all I have. Every I just count my blessings. I just count my blessings.
There is a power for good in the universe greater than you are.